Good afternoon. Hello. Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shauna Nesbitt. I'm your Vice President for Institutional Opportunity, and it is my honor to welcome you all to our celebration of our veterans. It is particularly wonderful to see this room completely filled. We have a lot of events, and not every room is completely filled, but today we are here to celebrate people who do the honorable service of taking care of us, making sure that we're safe, making sure that our interests are protected in so many ways. And this is our way of turning it all back around to say thank you. Thank you for all that you do and what you have done for years and years of service. And those of you who are family members of veterans, thank you as well. I, as a family member of multiple veterans on all sides of me, every male has served in some capacity, have learned very well how important it is, the service that you provide, and how that shapes who we are, who we are around the country, internally and externally, and then how it shapes us in our own households is just to have that view that servitude is a good thing. It is a good thing for us to do, and it feeds the soul. So we have a full program today. I don't want to belabor the program, but I do want to introduce some of our leaders who are here to share in this event. It's always really nice to have our leadership come to share with the rest of the UT Southwestern campus community in these celebrations. First and foremost, Dr. Dan Podolsky, our president, who's here. Dr. Jonathan Efron, who is here as our leader of the Health System Affairs. Thank you. Holly Crawford, who is here as the leader of our Business Affairs. Thank you, Holly. Dr. Andrew Lee, where is he? There he is, our academic provost. To Jeremy Falke, I saw you somewhere, our Vice President and Chief HR. Cardell Velez, who is an AVP in imaging and will come a little bit later. Russell Poole, there he is, our VP CIO. Natalie Romello, who is our VP and Chief Compliance and Audit Officer. Thank you. My partner in crime here. Bruce Brown, our Associate VP, there he is, of Safety and Business Community. Chief Lewis, the head of our police department. Archie Cronauer, up in the back there, our AVP of Hospital Facilities. Suzanne Farmer, I saw Suzanne come in a little earlier, there she is. Jenny Doran, who is our Vice President of Communications, Marketing, and Public Affairs. Chris Rubio, who is our Vice President and COO of the Health System. I couldn't forget you, Chris. Tracy DeAugust, who is the newest addition to our team. There she is, our CEO of CUH. Jessica Rivera, who is our AVP and Interim COO of CUH. And finally, I think Susan Hernandez, who was planning to be here. Anyway, let's give her a hand as well. She is our leader of the nursing department. And with that, we'll begin our program with a representation of our color guard from local high school here, John Horn High School from Mesquite Independent School District. You may come. Art time. Art. Color guard. we welcome Cardell Velez, who is our AVP of Hospital Operations and Imaging Services, who has served as the executive sponsor for our Business Resource Group for Veterans.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out to the Veterans Alliance, BRG, annual tribute. I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker, Tony Larkins. So Tony Larkins is our Vice President and Institutional Chief Information Security Officer. As Principal Cybersecurity Advisor, he oversees the administration of cybersecurity, strategy, and operations for the health system, academic affairs, and research. He has over 30 years of experience in cybersecurity leadership, strategy, engineering, and regulatory compliance. He is a retired Air Force cyber warfare officer and honorably served 23 years on active duty in multiple roles, culminating as the Director of Operations for the Air Force's, go Air Force, premier cyber warfare squadron based at Fort Meade, Maryland. During his time at Fort Meade, he directed cybersecurity, operations in support of national strategic objectives for the FBI and the CIA. Prior to joining UT Southwestern, Tony served as Chief Information Security Officer for Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, Florida. Tony also served as Chief Information Security Officer at Children's Hospital of California and Maricopa Integrated Health System. He has a Master's of Science in Information Technology, a Bachelor's in Computer Science. In addition, he holds the following certifications: Certified Information Systems Security Professional, Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer, Certified Healthcare Information Security Leader, and Certified in Risk and Information Systems Control. Help me welcome Tony Larkin.
Well, good afternoon, teammates. You have the clicker? Well, Cardell, thank you for such a warm introduction. I don't know who Tony Larkin is, but I know who Tony Lakin is, so I just want to make sure we get that right. Before I begin with my prepared remarks, I want to take a moment to thank Dr. Podolsky for continuing to make this a priority to represent our veterans. This is my third year here, and this means a lot to us veterans, right? So when we look at over 800 of us here that have served the nation, that's continuing to serve UT Southwestern, this really means a lot to us, so thank you for that. Dr. Nesbitt, thank you for extending the invitation to speak today. 23 years of service, a lot to talk about, and when I started thinking about what should I really speak to today and what the message would be, it's really around service, right? Service to the nation, but also continuing that service as veterans as well. And when I was thinking about this, 37 years ago and one day is when I enlisted in the Air Force, right? So November 10th, 1988, I retired from my job, my high school job. I worked at E.F. Hutton, which was a brokerage house in Lower Manhattan. So I resigned from that role and then raised my right hand and affirmed that I would support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I tell you, it was a heck of a career and a heck of a ride. So very grateful of that in the time that I served in the Air Force. Very rewarding also. That's where I met my lovely spouse, who also served in the Air Force as well. And together we have 3 lovely daughters. So thank you for your service as well. And as we look at the Air Force core values, integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. that was the foundation of those core values that guided my career over 23 years. And as we look at that, integrity first is that willingness to do what is right, doing the right thing when no one is looking, and even being that moral compass that guides courage, honesty, and more importantly, accountability. So as airmen, we live by that. We believed it. It was ingrained in our DNA. Service before self. This is the professional duties that take precedence over personal desires, right? And when we think about that, the ultimate sacrifice of serving in the Air Force, the greatest example of that I can think of is deploying and leaving your loved ones to go serve the nation. And I'll talk a little bit about that because that's really my message to you today. And then lastly, excellence in all we do. This represents that continual personal and professional commitment to always get better, right? Understand there's room for improvement, but we're committed to that. Not perfection, but excellence, right? And that'll keep you on that path to achieve great things. Much like many of the veterans here, when I enlisted, I had no idea I was going to serve over 23 years in the United States Air Force. That first 4 years for me was really about trying to understand who I was, where I wanted to go in life, but also, find some money for college, et cetera. But that first 4 years, there was a transformation that happened. I really fell in love with those core values. I fell in love with the organizational culture of the Air Force. It was really an environment where one could put forth their best effort and achieve goals based on their abilities. And the teamwork was just tremendous, right? Having that support system there too was outstanding. So for me, I enlisted in the Air Force, like I said, 1988. I served 12 years in the enlisted corps purposely because I received a commission and I wanted to honor that enlisted service. So I served 12 years enlisted and 11 years in the commissioned corps as well. So for me, that was my foundation where I learned not only good leadership, but more importantly, that teamwork of depending on your teammates when you needed them. As we received different missions throughout the Air Force, working together to achieve those is a lot of lessons that I took away from that and that I learned from that. That first deployment for me that we see here, Prince Sultan Air Base, Saudi Arabia. This is where I deployed and served as a project manager in the J65 Communications Directorate. And for those that don't know, the Air Force, we pride ourselves in being pioneers. And we coined a concept of Air Expeditionary Force. That's how we would present our forces to the joint warfighter in support of our national objectives. And for me, my functional role at this time was certified as a program manager. So as a project manager. And as I deployed here, and what you see, this picture here, is the Combined Air Operations Center in Prince Sultan Air Base. And it's combined because it was not only joint, but our coalition partners as well, right? They were part of that total force. And any type of air operation that was conducted in the area of responsibility was monitored and command and controlled from this area that you see here in this photo. So my job specifically, working within the Communications Directorate, was to establish not only those networks and keep those networks up and running for our warfighters, but also to establish a new concept of tactical digital interface links. So every aircraft would be depicted on this wall that you see here in real time. That gave us a tremendous advantage in terms of not only real-time intelligence of what's going on in the battlefield, but also gave us an opportunity to adjust if needed real time and gave our senior leaders the ability to see what was going on in the area of operations back in garrison, back in the States as well. So very rewarding opportunity there, learned quite a bit. And as we focused on moving the Combined Air Operations Center forward to Qatar Air Base and Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. So that was my next assignment. This time I served as the executive officer to the 379th Expeditionary Maintenance Group Commander. So this is one of those opportunities that you get as a first lieutenant that you don't look forward to, but it was very, very rewarding to really see our senior leaders operate day to day and see the challenges that they faced, but also how they overcame those. So it was a very good experience for me, and definitely contributed to a lot of those combat operations during Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. During this time, we focused quite a bit on the aerial refueling mission. So any types of air refueling that went on in that theater, we supported logistically. Also made sure supplies were continually flowing in and out of the area of responsibility. In addition to that, very proud to support when needed, and fortunately for us, it wasn't often, supporting combat search and rescue missions. Very important there as well. So in the unfortunate event that we had either aircraft that malfunctioned and went down, we could go out and search for those crew members in a timely manner. And again, doing all this with that same level of teamwork across the forces that we had deployed there. Also served during this deployment as the communication security reporting officer for all of our cryptographic equipment in theater. And for those that are Army, that were infantry, you understand what that means when you go out with your tactical radios, and if those keys malfunction, you can't communicate, or in the unfortunate event we would lose equipment, we had to rekey the entire fleet to support the warfighter. So again, prime example of teamwork coming together, a lot of lessons learned there, but these deployments here were really more kind of routine, relatively routine in terms of the challenges that we face compared to my deployment to Kirkuk Air Base, Iraq. This deployment had the most impact in my career simply because the level of risk that was involved. But I want to kind of paint a picture here to share with you how this deployment started. Staged at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, waiting for our next hop to get into Iraq, we were approached with the crew members of a C-130 aircraft that was going to carry us from there to Kirkuk Air Base, Iraq, and said, hey, we have a need to get a generator to Balad Air Base to move all those troops that we were going to Kirkuk. We cut our chalk in half to allow them to load that generator on that aircraft to get it to Balad Air Base, Iraq, where it was desperately needed. They had suffered some pretty significant attacks. They were without electricity for several hours. And being able to make that sacrifice to say we're going to get on this aircraft along with this generator and get it there was the start of my tour there in Iraq. It resonated with me because as we think about service before self, those sacrifices that we made for folks that we didn't know significantly contributed to them being successful in their overall mission. Now, I also want to give you a visual of coming in and landing at Balad Air Base under fire. For some of the Army folks that may have rode on a C-130 aircraft, you understand what a combat landing is. That was my introduction to that. They called us the chair force for a reason, because we did not go out in the field very much, but this was my introduction to that. And the way this works is you come across that airfield and you start a turn. It's a spiral. And you continue to do this spiral and it gets more narrow and more narrow. And then at the right time, you will hit that deck and then land the airplane. But here at Balad, we weren't landing the airplane. We were gonna drop off that generator. And as we hit the deck to lower the gate of the rear of the C-130 aircraft, I watched this crew with surgical precision unstrap that generator, push it off that airplane while that plane is still running, and all of us passengers are still sitting in the seats. From the time that aircraft hit the deck till we were back in the air safely was a little over 4 minutes. That's teamwork. That doesn't happen without the dedication of men and women that serve. it doesn't happen without these airmen thinking about their fellow soldiers, Marines, sailors, to be successful in doing that. So that stayed with me because during that tour, everything that we did was for that person that you're serving with to the left and right of you. And again, this is when, at this time, I was a first lieutenant, and as you can imagine, opportunities roll downhill. We used to say other things roll downhill, but this was an opportunity that we had with the 173rd Airborne Brigade. When they deployed, they were not able to source their postal officer and their chief of postal effects. So I was presented with that opportunity to go be a postman, right, for this tactical unit. And as I reflected back on that, I certainly wasn't looking forward to that opportunity, but I tell you, that was another example of that service before self, thinking about others, not just me personally, but that was the most rewarding role that I had during that deployment. Because as you can imagine, this deployment was over Christmas time, and we were able to deliver those letters from home, very important, grandma's baked goods, that meant a lot. So needless to say, we had a lot of fans there, for sure. And when I think back, that level of teamwork and effort are things that I carried with me and put those things in my leadership toolkit. So as we continued on with that deployment, I think I lost a mic here. I don't know. Think we're good? Okay. So as we continued on with that deployment, we would ask for volunteers because a team of 6 folks processed over 30 tons of mail, right? And this is in a span of 138 days that we were deployed there, that I had the privilege and honor of leading those folks. And as you see here, it's U.S. Army. I also had 4 soldiers under my charge as well. Never served a day in the Army, but working for Colonel Melville, I'll never forget him because he's a hard-charging, he was the brigade commander. Hard-charging individual, he was actually a ranger. So for my Army brothers and sisters, if you know Rangers, you know the personality type. And being a young first lieutenant, he never missed an opportunity to haze me quite a bit. Well, they called it back then getting to know you, but it really was hazing. So his thing for me was whenever I would come into the brigade command building, I had to, at the top of my lungs, yell, "Rangers lead the way," right? And again, hated that, but it turned it into something that was his way of saying, I want to see if you have what it takes, you know, to support my soldiers, to support our mission here. I was awarded an Army Commendation Medal during that tour as well. And I hold that near and dear to me because, again, never served a day in the Army at all. But that's that little green medal a lot of people were asking me about, where'd you get that from? But that, to me, really got me down this path of leadership is really leadership. It matters not your service. It matters not the organization that you're at. It's really about you as a leader and the culture of the team that you're building. That's what stayed with me throughout that time. In addition to that, because certainly I just wasn't, you know, being the postman there, we came to Kirkuk about 6 months after the 173rd Airborne Brigade jumped into the base, seized the base, and we set up initial communications there as well. So phone systems, command and control networks, traditional email, which was pretty important. And at that time, and again, I say very affectionately, we were known as a chair force. I'm dealing with a lot of airmen. We never lived in tents before. You can imagine. We would always deploy. When we were at Saudi Arabia and Qatar, we were in fixed buildings. So my first complaint that I received from one of my airmen was, hey, LT, why is it that we don't have internet in this tent, right? So that gives you the kind of sense of the culture there. But overall, a very rewarding experience. Again, one that was a hardship because when you're there and there is the significant thought of loss of life or injury, being away from your loved ones was tough during the holidays. But overall, the men to the left and right of me is what got us through that. So very grateful for that. And as I look back at that, my leadership takeaways from those experiences, failure is never an option, right? We were presented with a lot of adversity and obstacles. You may do with what you had, but you focus with that positive energy on how do I get to where I need to be. So that's something that I've taken with me, put in my leadership toolkit, and something that I use on a daily basis here at UT Southwestern, right? And you notice when I addressed you guys as teammates, I really believe in that concept of team. We can certainly do more with each other. I try to let that permeate down through my department as well, but we were able to achieve some great things there where, like I said, setting up initial communications, being able to move a combined air operations center from one country to the other. You don't do that without help in each other. So that's one of the things that I take with me. The other is, again, you can't do it by yourself. That teamwork is key. The training that we received, the camaraderie, ensuring that your teammate is doing well. That was the other thing I learned too from there is you can be a leader, but lead with empathy as well and understanding. I had a lot of young troops there in Iraq. In addition to maintaining and being in charge of the service desk, we had audio-visual as well. So these were the young airmen that would have to go out and take pictures of, you know, fun things, ceremonies and things too. But often it was things that were not so nice, where if there were events where there was loss of life or a potential to where there were war crimes committed, they had to go document those things. And I'm talking, you know, 19, 20-year-olds. So being a leader to be able to recognize that, go tap that teammate out and say, hey, you need to take a break, right? Make sure and check on their well-being, very important. But none of that happens without us being a team. And again, taking care of one another. So that's something that, again, I hold near and dear and will take with me as I move on in my career as well. And then lastly, for all the veterans here, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for all that you do at UT Southwestern each and every day. It doesn't go unnoticed. And I can always spot the veterans, you know, when I'm kind of walking around campus as well. It's, to me, something that I look back on, and if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. You know, given even, you know, whatever perceived hardships, it made me a better person, a better leader, a better husband, better father. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much.
And now we will have Alexandra Penner, who is a second-year medical student. She graduated from UC Santa Barbara in 2023, where she earned her BS in biology. While at UCSBC, she was a four-year Army ROTC contract, and upon graduation was commissioned as an officer in the Army. Alexandra spent a gap year in the reserves and then began medical school as a health profession scholarship program student in 2024. Welcome, Alexandra.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, my name's Alex, and I'm really glad y'all have me here to speak today. Firstly, I'd like to thank the Office for Institutional Opportunity for hosting this event. It's really great to see so many veterans all in one space. It's not often, there's not a lot of people in my class that really understands kind of the whole culture, and so it's really great to just see everyone here who understands each other in a different way that a lot of people don't. I'm happy to be here representing the Armed Forces Landing Zone, an organization with the medical school here on campus. For those of you who don't know the organization, our mission is to bring veterans, future service members, and everyone in between together on campus while also providing resources to those interested in pursuing military medicine, whether that be through the Health Profession Scholarship Program like I'm doing, or if they're interested in serving in the future in other ways. Some things we're hoping to do this year as an organization is various volunteer events with veterans, creating care packages, maybe some grandma-like baked goods, as mentioned before. Last year we hosted a Murph Challenge, which was really fun, so I know some of you here probably have done that, and so we're gonna do that again this May. And then lunch talks with prior service military physicians. There's quite a few here at Southwestern, and it's always great to hear their stories about their service and how they transitioned into the civilian sector working as a physician here at Southwestern. A little bit about myself. My father served in the military, in the Army, and then my husband is now currently an active duty officer stationed at Fort Bliss. He's a field artillery officer, so quite a different career option than I'm choosing, but nonetheless. And then I commissioned through ROTC from UC Santa Barbara, and now I'm here pursuing medicine through the Health Profession Scholarship Program. I always grew up knowing I wanted to serve like my father, and I figured what's a better way than to serve those who have served us and are currently serving us. That's all to say that while I'm just beginning my military career, I've already come to appreciate how unique and meaningful the military experience is. Something that few outside of the military community truly understand. The bonds I've made with my friends during training events, from sleeping in the rain in sleeping bags. We're not the chair force, so we do sleep. No tents for us, just sleeping bags. Trading MREs for the best snacks, whether that be some stale Skittles, which who knew Skittles could get so stale, and massive amounts of hurrying up just to wait. All made it better when you're waiting with friends and people that you really trust and your team that you come to love like a family. Today I was looking through pictures and just really miss all those people. So, and I think everyone here understands that. I'm sure y'all miss your people too. And so it's really nice to see everyone here together. I was reminded of the importance of this again this past summer during my basic officer leadership course training at Fort Sam Houston, where I was training alongside the Army's future healthcare providers, from dentists to physicians to physical therapists, and working with peers from across the country, from the East to the West Coast to Texas, was really great. And it was really great to see a bunch of people together who all share one mission: to serve and care for those who are serving our nation. And it was an incredible reminder of why we do what we do, because sometimes it is tough. It's tough my husband's in El Paso, which is not as close as some might think. And so just a reminder of being around people who understand that deeper meaning and deeper reason why we're serving is always great. And that's why events like today are so important. And so with that, thank you so much for having me. If you are interested in the Armed Forces Landing Zone and want to meet some current med students who are interested in pursuing military medicine, always feel free to reach out. We're happy to have you. And if there's any events or any way that you'd like to support us, maybe make some care packages with us this December, that would be great, and we'd really appreciate it. And with that, in celebration of Veterans Day, we're not going to play a compilation of the U.S. Armed Forces service songs. And we invite all of you here in person to stand and sing along, especially the Army people. Do I play?
The United States Coast Guard. United States Space Force. United States Air Force. United States Navy. United States Marine. United States Army.
So many of you know, and for those who don't, the tradition of giving a military coin is a way to honor achievement, build camaraderie, and show appreciation for service. I would like to first present a coin to our keynote speaker, Tony Lakin. We also would like to present coins to our color guard. Thank you for coming out and helping serve us. I want to give a special thanks to our Veterans Alliance, BRG, for putting this together. Dr. Nesbitt, Dawn, Tyler, Kim Evans, and Gina Fogel-Williams for your support and work you do. Please complete the survey when you have the opportunity, and that ends the program for today.